The Waterloo Memorial. Well, a reminder of battles royal in the past. Thankfully in a sporting fashion today. And the Brabantse Pijl, an entree to the Ardennes classics to come, starting with the Amstel gold race this coming weekend. A southwesterly breeze meant it was a headwind before we got to our first loop, and then on the way home a tailwind that would take us to the circuit that defines the race. 21.9 kilometres to be taken fully 3 times, but joined with 81 kilometres and more remaining. A tough task ahead, certainly. Well, unlike Flanders and indeed Paris-Roubaix, this day a breakaway was formed almost immediately. Mains from Bignol, de Pastel from Flanders, Townsend from Bolton Equities, and indeed Tord Gudmestad from Uno X. Well, the gap had been around about 6.5 minutes, but that had fallen by 62 kilometres to go when we were solidly on the circuit, and you could see the agitation and the desire of Benoit Cosnefroid and AG2R Citroën, one of many teams that were helping with the chase. Well, Lotto Destiny, Alpecin, they were busy trying to close it all down. And then Cavagna, when we got to the flat, decided that he would push on and form what was to be a very selective group out front. Last man standing from the original breakaway, Gudmestad was the only man who could stay with. 4 others decided to push on out of the pack and come and join the fun. Andy Cron from Lotto Destiny, Ben Healy, the Irishman from EF Education Easy Post, joining Cavagna and Gumstead, along with Dorian Godon of AG2R and indeed Swedish champion Lucas Eriksson from Tudor Pro Cycling. Well, almost immediately it looked like a serious breakaway, and maybe it wasn't given enough respect by the chase. The breakaway itself had to fracture as the sun came along. Probing moves from the likes of Ben Healy and Cavagna. Cavagna himself just starting to struggle on some of the more focused climbs, of which there are many within this day. Once they took the bell to announce the final lap, the pace was being engaged by Dorian Godon from AG2R Citroën, presumably being allowed off the leash by his team behind. Delighted to see how he was functioning, and we were too, to see Ben Healy just thriving once more. Unfortunately for Andy Cron, he was starting to fade, and his team that had so much firepower at the beginning of the day maybe called too early, and calling time almost they were on this. Coming up, the Morkestraat and Cavagna went pop. Well, pushing on brilliantly so, we had a duo remaining, Dorian Godon and Ben Healy, and if it came down to a sprint, how would it pan out? Cavagna still believed he could get himself a podium place. The pack believed that maybe they could just trim that gap and be a feature. But time was running out to catch the duo up front, and they were starting to cat and mouse just a little bit. Healy refusing to give Godon a turn, knowing that Godon was the biggest threat as far as the sprint is concerned. Healy doggedly held on. But then, when the Frenchman opened up, the gap did as well. Ben Healy knew it was a great performance, but second place it would be for him. You could just see Cavagna being caught in the background as Dorian Godon crossed the line. Healy in second place, Cavagna with a slow puncture at the last, which he picked up with 5 kilometres to go. Meant that AG2R Citroën got the win, and indeed podium spot as well for Benoit Cosnefroid, who had been so busy earlier on this day. Fabulous racing at the Brabantse Pijl, and a great winner as well. AG2R Citroën punching above the weight as they occasionally do. It's been a drought for them for a while, they admit as much, and so this win doubly welcome. And just look at the gap in the end. No shame for Ben Healy, spectacular performance by him, super brave by the young Irishman. But Dorian Godon gets the biggest win of his career. Cavagna came home 4th in the sprint. Zingler, Kampf, Delay, Baggioli, Tom Squinch and Kim Hajduk. Fabulous race and a great winner, and a lovely entree to what is going to be a feast of Ardennes action, starting with the Amstel Gold this coming weekend.